My name is Deanna White. I teach 6th grade social studies.
My name's Steve Smith, and I am at the high school in the English department.
I'm Jen Bertolini, and I teach 1st grade.
My name is Emily Costanzo, and I'm the 7th grade math teacher.
I've been using Google Docs to do animal reports for many years now, showing the kids how to insert pictures, how to use page breaks, how to change fonts.
I use EdTech in the classroom to help students be more engaged with my math content and to simplify my role as the teacher. My goal is to be more of a facilitator than a teacher. So I want to put more of the responsibility on the students, and I think technology really allows me to do that.
Over the course of last year, I was able to learn a lot about many different programs, Canva, Wakelet, different software apps.
I use technology now in my classes more than I ever have in the past. I mean, typically I'd use technology for Edge Elastic or just basic testing options, but since adapting to and trying out PBL, I've been able to use technology a lot more in my classes.
Well, I'm a dinosaur. I'm one of the old guys who doesn't have a phone and was a little skeptical and went to the convocation presentation, and I wanted it to, it's kind of like the Missouri Show Me State thing. I wanted to know this will actually work.
When I first attempted my first PBL project, it was for the students to create a multi-tiered timeline. And when I gave them the rubric and instruction, them doing this all independently on their own became a struggle. And so it was frustrating for me at first because I was like, this is not going to work.
Judd and I met, and he would make these suggestions. Why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? And generally, I would just say, okay, I'm listening to what you're saying, but I need to think about this for a couple days.
A lot of people know that there's a stigma behind a math classroom. It normally is very cookie cutter. It is the teacher's up in front instructing and the students are listening. And I think that causes a lot of people to have a bad attitude towards math classrooms.
I had to go back in and make changes and modify it so the project itself would be successful.
It wasn't very smooth. It wasn't very cohesive.
And then it dawned on me, I can actually use this stuff. And then I would talk to students, and students would be excited about it. And I thought to myself, like, you know what, it's worth giving it a shot.
So I went on and I thought, you know what, I want to do something that involves technology. I know we're moving in that direction, so it's important for me to incorporate it with the kids. They're all pretty tech savvy.
I usually only have to show them once or twice, and they pick up pretty easily.
And I thought, I don't have to do the same thing that I've always been doing year in and year out.
Everybody knows with teaching, you're going to have success and failure. And one of our key things as teachers is we're flexible. You have to be flexible, we all know that. And so in this case, it didn't hurt me to go back and try a different method. And so I created, with Mr. Hartman help, I created the Wakelet, and he walked me through it and setting everything up, and the project was a success. The kids loved it.
I started using digital notebooks, and it put more of the responsibility on the students because now they were taking pictures of their work at the board. They were uploading them to their digital notebooks. We didn't have to stop and talk about it because I could see them explaining it in their digital notebooks.
The stuff that I know really well can now be adapted to the things that the students know really well, like these applications.
I really was surprised how quickly they just took it and ran with it. Independence, the idea that it could create collaboration.
A boy in my class that has a hard time sitting still and focusing. However, he really took off with the book creator So when Judd came in and showed him how to put his animal report into Book Creator, he went home and finished it up that night, and then the next day was able to help other kids do the same thing.
You could see students were holding conversations with each other. They were more excited about the math. They were excited to take pictures of their work. They wanted me to check it and make sure that it was right so they could add it to their digital notebook.
It's in Google, and they will have it through their whole, school career.
Having the students learn from each other. So having the students create presentations that other students will be able to learn from. So giving different students topics and allowing them to create the lessons based on the technology and the material.
I had a student that just kind of like spoke up and said, "Hey, I don't know how to do this." And I said, "Okay, I'm coming, give me 1 second." And as I went to get up, someone's like, "I got it, I'll help them." And they just got up and went over, and that was just kind of like through the whole process. Kids were helping other kids, giving them assistance when they needed it, and it was amazing to see them do those kind of tasks all on their own.
Teaching other kids is the highest form of learning, so when they are teaching other kids, I know that they understand it.
I can work with them one-on-one and really individualize that digital notebook to meet the needs of each student. If I see a student is really excelling, I can maybe add a couple of challenge problems.
I can take my traditional curriculum of literature, of film, of poetry, and then make the connection with the applications that the students are already into. They're the experts. So, and I already told them that. I said, hey, you guys can evaluate these apps.
I'm learning just like they are. And I said, there are things they're going to bring into this classroom and teach me that I didn't know before. And there's things I'm going to teach them that they didn't know before. And that's the common ground between a teacher and a student. And so for me, it's important for those kids to realize that, they're just as important as I am in this classroom.
The kids really enjoy using the technology in the classroom. They would use it every day if I gave them the chance.
I would say using technology has definitely improved my life, especially outside of school. Much easier to go home with a computer or a tablet and grade papers digitally versus to carry 700 papers home with you a week.
It also saves me time because a lot of the stuff is digitalized. I don't have to create a note page. I don't have to create anything like that. It's once the digital notebook is created, I'm able to just make little tweaks here and there, and it saves me a lot of time.
That they have kind of helped create versus something that I've been driving. So I'm definitely moving out of teacher-driven into student-led lessons.
My classroom environment a lot more fun and engaging for me because I'm not just at the board saying the same thing over and over again. Every class is really different. Every interaction with the kids are really different.
It's a little bit of work up front, but after the kids get going, I'm more able to walk around and help them.
I had opportunity to go around and work with individual groups. I had time to have kids come up, and in Book Creator I could pull up their book, I could edit it, I could make comments on it for them and meet with them individually. And that was a big help to me to free up my time that I could circulate and meet with each group individually.
I guess the thing that I've learned as someone who's, skeptical of new technology is actually that we can line this thing up and make it so much better and let it fly and then maybe abandon some of the traditional, methods and applications, things that have been in the past.
When I'm up and teaching in front of them and I'm standing there and I'm looking and I see kids that just are like dazed, they're looking in every direction, and I'm like, they're bored. If they're bored, I'm bored. So something had to change. And for me, it was coming up with a different teaching strategy to help them not be bored.
So with the technology, of course, they're going to be using it in the future. So the earlier the better to get them started.
I mean, I came out of the overhead projector era. And so when I see something like the homepage of a Wakelet, a student-produced project with their photographs, their choices, And it's exciting.
It really became a more collaborative environment, and it really made them more engaged and excited to learn the math content.
So I said, as we go through this program, this project, because when we did our last one, I said, listen, we're all new to this. This is all new for us. And that's how I introduced it to them. That there's gonna be things we're gonna add that we're not gonna know because it's new. You're just gonna go and see how well it works.
Not only in math classrooms, I think everybody can utilize technology, and not only can it make our lives easier, but it can make our world of teaching so much more engaging and so much more beneficial for the students. And I am very excited to see where the technology will lead us in the future.
They're going to lead the path with this technology. I'm going to be sitting off on the side, which is going to be a huge relief for me, getting down away from the front whiteboard and actually saying, here's a framework. This is what I'm looking for. You guys take the lead.
Just getting them familiar with using all the tools in Google Docs. It's pretty staple program that they're going to have to use, or something similar to that. It just is a lot easier. In fact, I have kids that are actually going into 4th grade that still will send me reports that they do on their own. They email reports to me. So it's pretty cool that they still want to share stuff with me.
You have the opportunity to try or incorporate PBL in your classroom and give it a try. The only thing you're going to do is either learn what works and what doesn't. And once you figure that out, it's just going to help you be more successful as an educator.
It's not easy to think about changing something that you've been doing because it requires your time, but I just have a feeling that this is going to go well for me versus the way I have been conducting business, if you will. And I can already see that the students are much more excited about it.
Reading out of a textbook is not entertaining. So it has to be something that engages them. And that's what I feel like I need to do. If technology is going to get me there, then I need to embrace it and I need to use it. And if these projects or project-based learning is going to help me connect with my kiddos and get them where they need to be, then that's what I need to do. I need to learn how to use it successfully and effectively in my classroom so they can be successful in the end.